Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about the topic is 8237 DMA controller. This is the DMA controller is used for the purpose of operating the DMA operation in 8086 processors. Before going to discuss about this DMA controller device, let us first discuss about what is meant by DMA operation, why it is required, and why it is helpful for the 8086 processing operations. See, this is the slide which is showing about some of the IO operation techniques. If you want to understand about the direct memory access, it is need to understand its prerequisites also. That is why this is the discussion about the IO operation techniques. What are the IO operation techniques? Here, IO operation techniques are nothing but how the input device or an output device can send its data to the memory device or to the processor. And such a type of transfer is called as IO transfer. Any input device or output device, how it will send the data to the processor for its operation is called IO data transfer. And what are the different types of techniques that we are using for the purpose of IO data transfer is IO operation techniques. And if any one of the IO device want to send its data, want to transfer its data, the first three most techniques that are one is the programmed IO, second one is interrupt driven IO, and third one is direct memory access. What is meant by programmed IO? See, this is the first type of technique that processor is using initially. Programmed IO is nothing but a processor before it starts the program execution. Any processor before it starts the main program execution. First, it check for whether any of the IO device will send its request for transferring of data. This type of technique is called programmed IO technique, meaning that each every time before a start of program execution, CPU will always check whether any of the IO data transfer is sending its request or not. That is about the programmed IO. What is meant by second one? Second one is called interrupt driven IO. As there is a drawback present in the programmed IO, it is required to go for the next type of method which is called as interrupt driven IO. What is the drawback of programmed IO? The drawback is nothing but in programmed IO, even though any IO device didn't send its request, CPU is wasting its time that each every time it is required to check the IO data transfer. So even if none of the IO devices will send its request, CPU is each every time checking the IO devices requests. Because of this, CPU is wasting its time for the type of checking operation. That is a drawback in programmed IO. To avoid that drawback, we are going for the next method, interrupt driven IO method. What is interrupt driven IO method? CPU can do its operation as usually, meaning that CPU can do its main program execution as usually. If any IO request is sent by any of the IO device in middle of the main program execution, that request can interrupt the main program execution, meaning that IO request can disturb the main program execution. Immediately, the processor can stop its main program execution in middle of itself and go for IO data transferring operation. This is the method is called interrupt driven IO. And this is the interrupt driven IO is also having a drawback that there is a CPU interference. There is a CPU involvement. Whatever the techniques that we discussed past, that is about the programmed IO, interrupt driven IO, in these two techniques, there is a drawback is CPU involvement is there, processor involvement is there in each every IO transfer. So to avoid the processor involvement, because of processor involvement, processor may have such a type of burden. Processor may have such a type of burden each every time whenever the IO data transfer is need to initiate. So to avoid such a burden, we are going for the next type of technique which is called as DMA, direct memory access. The name itself indicates that direct memory access, meaning that any of the input or output device can directly access with the memory, because each every input or output device can share its information to the memory only. So any of the IO device can send its information or receiving its information from the memory directly without any processor involvement, without any processor intervention. That is why the technique is called DMA, direct memory access. Directly, memory can access any input or output devices without any CPU involvement. That is about the DMA operation. And see, this is the slide which is showing about direct memory access method. Direct memory access is a method of allowing data to be moved from one location to another in a computer without intervention from the central processor, meaning that without any interference of CPU, your data is allowing to move from one location, means from one of the IO device to memory device, or from memory device to IO device. It is possible. It is possible. That is a technique which is called as DMA, direct memory access. And also this is a way, is a fastest way, because there is no CPU involvement. No, no, sorry, any one of the IO device, no need to check the CPU time, no need to check the CPU operation. So as there is no CPU intervention in this process, as the type of transfer is in between directly from the IO devices to the memory devices, it is a very fastest way of transferring when it is compared to the previous type of techniques, that whatever we already discussed about, that is programmed IO or interrupt driven IO. So as because of that, we consider this is the fastest way of transferring. DMA IO technique provides direct access, and to initiate this type of DMA operation in 8086 processor, we need a one type of hardware device. So for initiating the DMA operation in 8086 processor, that is a hardware that we are using is called DMA controller. The hardware that we are using is called DMA controller. This is the DMA. What the DMA controller will do? This is the DMA controller will temporarily borrows the address bus, data bus, and control bus. See, in each every type of IO transferring technique, why the CPU involvement is there? CPU involvement is required because all the buses are under the hands of processor. Because all the buses are under the control of processor unit. Whenever that buses are to be used, or whenever that buses are released by the processor, then only the same buses is to be used for the IO transfer. This is the requirement when each every time we require the processor. Each every time we require a processor because of usage of buses, because of usage of buses. So what the DMA controller will do then? This is the DMA controller will temporarily borrows all the buses under its control, under the DMA controller control. So now the DMA controller is acting like as a bus controller of all the three buses: data bus, address bus, and system bus, means the control bus. And all these three buses, now it is in the hands of DMA controller. Whenever any IO transfer request is so happened, this is what actually is done in the DMA controller device. The DMA controller will act like as a bus controller whenever the IO request is initiated. And by borrowing that all the buses, the DMA controller will activate the type of IO transfer from any of the IO device to process, from any of the IO device to memory device, or from memory device to IO devices. And in some cases, this is the DMA controller will also make it possible a type of transfer from memory to memory also. That is the type of transfer is called memory to memory transfer. Not only it initiates a IO transfer, it also initiates a memory to memory transfer. You can transfer the data from one type of memory device to another type of memory device through this DMA controller. These are the advantages of DMA controller. These are the advantages of DMA controller. And in this DMA operation, we mainly use the two types of control signals for accessing the bus controlling, for accessing the bus control. What are the two control signals that we are using? The one which is the hold signal, one which is hold signal, and the one is called as HLDA signal. Hold signal, and this is the hold signal. What this hold signal can do? Through this hold signal, you are holding the bus control operation by the processor. You're holding the bus control operation by the processor. Means you are saying that to the processor, just hold the bus operations, and for some time you are holding the bus operations. The DMA controller is holding the bus operations. And when there is an acknowledgement, this is the hold request. This is the hold request will send by the DMA controller to the processor. Whenever such a request is initiated, immediately if processor will respond to that, that responding is says by means of the HLDA signal. HLDA is nothing but hold acknowledgement signal, and that acknowledgement says that processor is ready to provide its bus control to the DMA controller. This is the meaning for the two types of control signals that we are using. One is the hold signal and the one is HLDA signal. Whenever the hold request signal sent by the DMA controller, immediately processor can consider that one of the IO transfer is initiated. If processor will respond to that request, it acknowledges through another control signal which is called as HLDA, hold acknowledgement signal. When the processor recognizes the hold, it stops its execution and enters hold cycles. When the browser recognizes the hold, it stops its execution cycle because there is no bus control over that. It stops its execution and enters the hold cycles. And see here, hold input has the higher priority than INTR or NMI pin. There are the two types of interrupt pins which are there for the 8086, which is having the highest priority always. The one which is the INTR pin, and another one is the NMI pin. NMI is non-maskable interrupt pin. As apart from these two, hold input is having the highest priority. Whenever the hold request is sent by the DMA controller, immediately browser will respond to that hold request signal because the hold request signal is having the highest priority among all. The only microprocessor pin that has a highest priority than the hold is this reset pin. HLDA becomes active to indicate that the processor has placed its buses at high impedance state. And see, this is the image which is showing about how the DMA operation is going on. Suppose if this is the DMA controller is in the process, then the bus will be under the control of DMA, and through the bus the data will be sent to the peripherals by the DMA. If suppose there is no DMA controller request, if there is no DMA controller request, then the transfer is as usually from the processor. And the transfer is as usually from the processor. Then the transfer is from the processor and to the transfer is from the processor to the bus, and from the processor to memory, and from processor to peripherals. Okay, see the next one, basic DMA definitions. DMA read transfers data from the memory to IO device. DMA write transfers data from an IO device to memory. DMA read means data transfers from memory to IO device. Wherever the IO device is reading the data from memory device. DMA write transfers data from an IO device to memory. These are the two things that we consider as according to the DMA operation. Suppose the type of operation for the DMA, it is a read operation. Data is transferring from memory to IO device. If it is a DMA write operation, data is transferring from IO device to memory. The system contains separate memory and IO control signals. The DMA controller is also having a separate memory and IO control signals, as the memory and IO are controlled simultaneously. The memory and IO will be controlled simultaneously by because of this. DMA controller provides the memory with its address, and the controller signal selects the IO device during the transfer. DMA controller provides the memory with its addresses, and the controller signal selects the IO device during the transfer. Data transfer speed is determined by the speed of the memory device or a DMA controller. In many cases, DMA controller slows the speed of the system when transfer occurs. The serial PCI Express bus transfers data at rates exceeding DMA transfers. And coming to the our topic, the which it is nothing but 8237 DMA controller. 8237 supplies memory and IO with control signals and memory address information during the DMA transfer. It is actually a special purpose microprocessor whose job is high speed data transfer between memory and IO. DMA controller. As so long I intimated about this one, 8237 DMA controller. DMA controller is nothing but is a one type of hardware device. What's its operation is nothing but when any type of IO transfer is initiated, that IO transfer is going to be completed by this device without any intervention of the processor. So like that 8237 supplies memory, that 8237 DMA controller is having its own memory and IO control signals. It is actually, we may consider this type of DMA controller as a special purpose microprocessor. It is also be considered as a one type of process because it is doing some type of process where the data is transferring from IO device to memory or from memory to IO device. And also the type of data transfer will be a very fastest one. The fastest way of transferring is going to be possible by using of this type of DMA controller. And see the next one. See, this is the image which is showing how the CPU is getting the control over the bus and how the DMA is getting the control over the bus. See, this is a switch which is considering here. This is a switch which is considering here. And when the switches are at the top position, indicating that the bus which is under the hands of the processor. Whereas in this image, it is showing that the switches are at the bottom position. The switches which is at the bottom position indicating that DMA controller can drag the bus controlling operation. Means the DMA controller can hold the bus operations whenever the DMA operation is required. Likewise, the DMA operation is going to be initiated. Whenever the bus controller is under the hands of processor, there is no DMA operation. Whenever the bus controller is under the hands of DMA controller device, then we can say that there is a DMA operation is processing. That is the meaning for these two images. And see here in the image which are considering the memory and the peripheral devices. Between this memory and the peripheral devices, between the memory and peripheral devices, how the data transferring is going on, either through DMA controller or to the CPU. Once the DMA controller can get the control of the buses, immediately the data transfer is going to be initiated. Immediately the data transfer is going to be initiated. And see, whenever any peripheral device wants to use the DMA operation by the DMA controller, it sends a request signal is called DMA request. And if this is the DMA controller is ready to provide its DMA operation to the peripheral device, it sends an acknowledge DACK, DMA acknowledgement. Whenever it sends the DMA request signal for the DMA controller, immediately this is the DMA request signal can send another request signal which is called hold. If CPU is ready to provide its bus operations to the DMA controller, then again CPU will give its response through the signal called HLDA. If HLDA is initiated, means if HLDA is activated, immediately DMA controller will send its response to the peripheral device through DACK. This is like how the DMA controller will interact with the peripheral device. And what is an 8237 DMA controller? 8237 is not a discrete component in modern microprocessor based system. It is not a discrete component, it is a very required component. It is a very much required component of any 8086 processor at a now. Means at now in present times 8237 DMA controller is a very required one and also an important one here. It appears within many system controller chipsets. As I already said, it is a very required one and can be present in many of the controller chipsets. 8237 is a 4-channel device, and this is the DMA controller is having totally 4 channels: channel 0, channel 1, channel 2, and channel 3. So likewise, the 4 channels are ready to connect the number of IO devices to the DMA controller. This is the 8237 DMA controller is having totally 4 IO channels. To that channels, it is possible to connect the peripheral devices to the DMA controller. That is the requirement of channels in the DMA controller. Totally 8237 is having the 4 channels: channel 0, channel 1, channel 2, and channel 3, expandable to any number of DMA channel inputs. Not only the 4 channels, this is the DMA is also have a possibility to expand the more number of channels. So this is the 8237 is having a possibility of expanding that 4 number of channels to 7 number of channels also. Such type of expandable nature is provided in 8237 DMA controller. 8237 is capable of DMA transfers at a rate up to 1.6 MB per second. It can transfer a data at a rate of 1.6 MB per second. It is a very highest rate of data transferring. That's why I already said this is the DMA controller is providing a very high speed data rates. Each channel is capable of addressing a full of 64 kilobytes of memory. As I already said, DMA controller is also having its own memory and IO control signals. So like that, each every channel is capable of the section of memory 64 kilobytes of memory. And see this is a total block diagram of DMA controller here. And in this block diagram, this is called timing and control unit. We all know that this is the timing and control unit is also responsible for generating the required timing signals and control signals. In this here it is EOP. EOP refers end of process. When we want to stop the DMA operation or a DMA transfer, we used to initiate the control signal is EOP, end of process. Another one is reset. We know that about. And CS, which is the chip select signal, the ready signal. If there is any type of peripheral devices or the slower devices, for that acknowledgement we use the ready signal. And this is the clock signal. And this is AEN. AEN means address enable. ADSTB. ADSTB means address strobe. AEN ADSTB is to be used for latch the higher order addressing signals. And the next one is MEMR, memory read. another one is memory write, another one is IO read, and another one is IO write. And the next one is, this is about priority encoder and rotating priority logic. This is called priority encoder unit and rotating priority logic. And this is the priority encoder unit is responsible for generating the required priorities or providing such a priorities for the four channels. As I already said, 8237 DMA controller is having the four channels. That is why the request signals are considering it as DREQ not to DREQ3 and DACK not to DACK3. These are the request and acknowledgement signals for the four channels. Also, it is having the HLDA and HRQ. As I already said, DREQ, DACK is the signals which are required from the peripheral devices, and the hold and HRU means hold request and HLDA signal is to be for the processor unit from the DMA controller. And see, there are a lot of registers which are available here, and soon we will discuss about all the types of registers, how these registers are to be helpful for the DMA controlling operation. This is the unit. See, 8237 DMA controller is a device which it is called as how the DMA operations, DMA transfers are going to be controlled. That is why the device which is called as DMA controller device. And see, there are a number of registers which are available: decrementer and incrementer. This is the incrementer which increment the addresses that which it is given, and this is the decrementer where the count is going to be stored, the count which it is required because how many number of words or how many number of bytes that we are transferring through the DMA operation. And likewise, read buffer, read or write buffer, and this is the address register, base address register, base word count register, current address register, current word count register. Every type of register I will discuss, every type of register, don't bother about that. First listen what are the registers which are there: base address register, base word count register, current address register, current word count register. This is the command register, this is the mask register, and this is the request register, and this is the mode register, status register, and temporary register. Like all these types of registers which are to be helpful for successfully doing the DMA operation by the DMA controller unit. And this is about the total block diagram of DMA controller unit. And see, this is a pin diagram of DMA controller. About all the pins, I already intimated about this, all the pins which are used in the 8237 DMA controller, it is already discussed. And see what are the internal registers that we are it is present in the DMA controller operation. One is the base address register, one is the base address register, one is the base address register, and the one is base word count register, and the one is current address register, and one more is current word count register, temporary address register, temporary word count register, status register, command register, temporary register, mode register, mask register, and request register. Let us see the first about what is the base address register. Base address register is nothing but when we initiate any type of DMA operation, the starting address is going to be stored in the starting address where the byte it is transferring is going to be stored in the register called base address register. The next one is base word count register. Before you start the transfer of data, it is required to load the count. Count is nothing but how many number of bytes that you are transferring or how many number of words that you are transferring through the DMA operation. That count is required to load into the register. That is, the register is called base word count register. Another one is current address register. At present means when you start, means you already started the DMA operation. When you are in the progress of DMA operation, what is the present addressing location that you are using for the transferring of data is stored in the current address register. The next one is current word count register. Current word count register is about how many number of words or how many number of bytes that you are transferring presently is stored in the current word count register. And the next one is temporary address register. Temporarily, that way, whenever you want to initiate the data transfer, you can store the address in the temporary address register. Like temporary word count register, it stores the count of the word. And this is the status register, which is used for representing the status of the transfer, whether you are verifying the transfer, whether you are writing the transfer, whether it is a DMA write operation, it is a DMA read operation, or it is a DMA verify operation. How the status, how much amount of data that is transferred so far, the status will be shown on the status register. The command register, this is a very important register. By programming this command register only, it is completed the DMA operation by the DMA controller unit. We will discuss soon what is the command register, have the modes. Another one is a temporary register. Next one is mode register. Mode register, the name itself indicates, this is a register which is used to change the different modes of operation. Generally, the four modes of operations are there in your 8237 DMA controller, that we will discuss soon. What are the DMA mode of operations? And the next one is mask register. As I already said, the DMA controller is having an ability to mask some number of peripheral devices for some time. If that is the IO peripheral device is not required at now, then the DMA controller is have an ability to mask that type of channel or mask the type of peripheral device for some time. For that purpose, we are using the registers called as mask register. And last one, which is called as request register. What the type of channel is sending its request, whichever channel request is initiated, whichever the channel request is now continuing, now it is processing, all its information will be in the request register. These are the internal registers that are present in the DMA operation. See, 8237 internal registers, what are it is? CAR, which is the current address register. As I already said, this is a 16-bit register. Each channel has its own current address register. When a byte of data is transferred during DMA operations, CAR is either incremented or decremented. Means to transfer the next type of byte or the next sequential location byte, this is the CAR register is required to increment or either to increment or to decrement. That is done by the current address register. And next one is CWCR, current word count register. As I already said, current word count register. This is the register which is used to store the number of bytes that it is required to transfer. Another one is CR, command register. This is a very important register. This is the command register only can program the total operation of DMA controller. The register uses bit position 0 to select the memory to memory DMA transfer mode. Memory to memory. As I already said, DMA can allow both the memory to memory transfer operation as well as memory to IO transfer operation. Memory to memory transfer means the data can be transferred from one memory device to another memory device without any intervention of CPU. That is called memory to memory transfer. Memory to memory DMA transfers use DMA channel 0 to hold the source address, whereas DMA channel 1 holds the destination address. See, this is the register format of command register. In here, bit position 0 will indicate the memory to memory transfer. When you want to initiate the memory to memory transfer, the bit position 0 is the responsible one. If it is 0, memory to memory is disabled. If it is 1, memory to memory is enabled. What is about the bit position 1? Channel 0 address hold disable. Channel 0 address hold enable. As I already said, if it is a memory to memory transfer, channel 0 is holding the source address. Channel 1 is holding the destination address. As per the purpose, channel 0 here. And the type 2 is indicating controller enable. or controller disable. And the next one, bit position 3 is indicating about normal timing, compressed timing. And bit number 4 is indicating fixed priority and rotating priority. See, in the priority encoder unit, that whatever you saw in the block diagram of 8237 DMA controller, the priority encoding is using two types of priority methods. That is one called fixed priority method, another one is called as rotating priority method. Fixed priority method is nothing but that channel 0 is having the highest priority, whereas channel 3 is having the lowest priority. That priority encoding is fixed. That is why the type of method is called as fixed priority method. Whereas what is called rotating priority method, rotating priority method is nothing but um, suppose at one type of DMA cycle, I am considering the channel 0 is having the highest priority. For the next DMA cycle, it is rotating to the next channel. This channel 1 is now the channel 1 is having the highest priority. For the next DMA cycle, channel 2 is having the highest priority. Likewise, for each every DMA cycle, the priority is going to be rotated. The priority is going to be rotated. That is like fixed priority and rotating priority. To choose what type of priority encoding method that we are using, the bit that here it is 4, fourth position in the command register. And here this is called fifth position of bit in the command register is late write selection, extended write selection. Late write selection or extended write selection is to be used especially for where we consider the peripheral devices are very slower devices. Suppose the peripheral devices connected to the DMA controller is those are very slower devices. In such a case, we use this mode of operations that is called late write selection or extended means that whatever that write operation is there, that write cycle is going to be extended so that that slower device can access the data easily. So wherever the peripheral devices are considering it is slower devices, we use this late write selection and extended write selection. And the next thing is and the next thing is bit position 6 and bit position 7. Bit position 6 and bit position 7. What is bit position 6? DREQ sense active high, DREQ sense active low. That is about the DMA request, whether it is high or low. And last, seventh position is considering about DAC, where the acknowledgement whether it is received or not. Likewise, by programming the command register, programming of the DMA controller operation is done. That is why I said this is the sorry. That is why I said this is the DMA controller operation is totally depends upon the command register. And the next one is base address register and base word count register. This is the base address register on base word count registers are used when auto initialization is selected for a channel. As I already said, when you initialize the DMA operation, we use the base address register and base word count register. This is the register which is called as mode register, a register which is used to select the different modes of operations have in the DMA controller operation. The register is called as mode register. Each channel has its own mode register and that mode register can select any mode of the operation by the every channel. And see 0 and 1 can use for selection of channel, whether it is selecting the channel 0, channel 1 or channel 2. And 2 and 3 is referring that verify transfer or write transfer or read transfer or uh, what is that, verify transfer, write transfer, read transfer, illegal transfer. And the fourth position is indicating that auto initialization disable, auto initialization enable. And the next one, fifth one, which is about the address increment select, address decrement select. And the sixth and seventh bits are very important here. Sixth and seventh bits are very important here. These two bits which indicates the mode of operations. These two bits which are indicating and what are the different modes which are present. That mode selection can be possible by using 6 and 7 bits. Let us see what are the different modes of operations. The different modes of operations are single cycle transfer, block transfer mode, demand transfer mode, and cascade mode. Single cycle transfer, which is considering for each every DMA cycle only one byte can be transferred. Block transfer mode. Block transfer. See, whenever this is the DMA cycle is initiated, for each every DMA transfer means for each every DMA byte transfer, that count will be decremented. Once the count is reaching to 0, it initiates a signal called TC. TC refers terminal count. When your count reaches to its terminal position, immediately it sends a control signal TC, terminal count. But because of this terminal count and EOP, end of process, DMA can know that the transfer is completed. So block transfer mode, a total block of data at a time can be sent it. It is possible sending a total amount of means a total block amount of data. That is why it is called as block transfer data. Another one is called as demand transfer mode. This is block transfer mode and demand transfer mode is very similar, except um, the termination is considering by means of DREQ signal also, including TC and EOP. The termination will also be considered the inclusion of DREQ signal. That is only the difference between the block transfer mode and demand transfer mode. And cascade mode, as I already said, DMA controller is having totally 4 channels, and it is also having an expandable nature. So if 8237 DMA controller wants to expand the number of channels, the more number of 8237 DMA controllers can be cascaded along with the one type of DMA controller. That is the mode of operation is called as cascade mode of operation. Another one is bus request register. This is BR. BR considered as bus request register. Whenever the bus request is required to be initiated for any type of particular channel, we use this register. And this is called as mask register. Mask register, which makes any one of the channel is to be set or reset. So this is the register is going to be used for formatting any channel is going to be masked or to be clear its mask. And this is called mask register. As I already said, clearing the mask or setting the mask is so possible by using this mask register. And the last one, which is called as status register. And this is the status register, shows the status of each DMA channel. The TC bits indicates if the channel 1 has reached its terminal count. So whenever it reaches its terminal count, immediately it stops its DMA transfer operation over there. That status is shown on the register is called as status register. And the remaining registers, which are master clear register, clear mask register, clear the first or last flip flop, these are all the types of different registers. And this is memory to memory transfer with the 8237. As I already discussed about this, memory to memory transfer is nothing but the type of transfer can be done by between one type of memory device to another type of memory device. Most modern chipsets do not support the memory to memory feature. Thank you, students.